7 years if you don't count the Golden Globes. You shouldn't. The Golden Globes, very different. Oh, God, different vibe. 200 people watching around the world, and it's live, you know, big thrill. But with that many people watching, there comes a bit of stick. Everyone's different. Everyone's a blogger. Everyone goes, I was offended. Oh. Why? He said an horrible thing. We said loads of horrible things. Yeah, but that was a thing that I care about. And that's the thing about offence, isn't it? It's about feelings are personal. I don't care about the so-called backlash, you know, comedian in horror. Ooh, you know. But my girlfriend Jane, she does worry a bit, and she reads things. Oh, what have you said? Why? I go, don't worry about it. They're not coming to the house. Fuck them. So I wind her up. I pretend I'm going to say much worse things than I ever would. Think of that. I have to make up worse jokes than I actually... just to scare my girlfriend. So when I'm doing the Golden Globes, we go out about a week before. It's in LA. We fly out, right? And I'm right into the ceremony approaches, and, you know, they release sort of more presenters, and I take my pick. I go, oh, yeah, I've got a good intro for them. Yeah, I'll do. Yeah. Mel Gibson. Yeah, I'll introduce him. Yes. And about 3 days before this one, right, just to wind Jane up, I said, oh, I've got a good intro. She went, what? I said, Bill Cosby would make our next presenter sleep on the couch. Please welcome Helen Mirren. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. She went, you're not going to do it? I said, no, I'm not going to do that. Next day, I said, is this too much then? I said, not even Bill Cosby carries enough tranquilizer to bring down this next magnificent beast. Please welcome Melissa McCarthy. I didn't do it. I'd never tell a joke like that. It's horrible. I was just doing it to annoy Jane. I'd never think of that. So don't... Even on the day, on the way to the red carpet, we're in the limo, just to wind her up, I said, oh, I'm going to start off with a funny little one-line, just an old-fashioned joke. She went, oh, what? I said, what did the deaf, dumb and blind orphan get for Christmas? And Jane went, I don't know. I said, cancer. I didn't do it. So you're getting offended at a joke that doesn't exist. So I'd never say that in public. So to anyone who mattered. Anyway, so don't... It was, I didn't have to worry about offending anyone because it just happened, so... And the big controversy last time I did it was a Caitlyn Jenner joke, right? Oh, outrage on Twitter the next day. And by outrage, I mean a couple going, it was transphobic. It wasn't transphobic in the slightest. It was a joke about a trans person, but the joke had nothing to do with that aspect of her existence. And that's the other thing about offence. People get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target, and they're not necessarily the same. I'll tell you the joke. You make your own minds up. Right. So... It's live, so... And now your host for the 68th Annual Golden Globe Awards. Please welcome Ricky Gervais. They come on, and they're all clapping, all the actors are looking up, smiling at me nervously. It's brilliant, right? So I just go, relax. I'm going to be nice tonight. I've changed. Not as much as Bruce Jenner, obviously. And I go, now Caitlyn Jenner, of course, and what a year she's had, became a role model for trans people everywhere, bravely breaking down barriers and destroying stereotypes. She didn't do a lot for women drivers. That's a clever joke, and I'll tell you, right? No, listen, right? The subject of that joke is stereotypes, playing with the notion of stereotypes, right? So I start off saying, she's a real woman. Some would say a liberal, progressive attitude. Then I go, oh, if she's a real woman, I hit them with the old-fashioned reactionary stereotype. She must be a bad driver then, right? And the target of the joke is a celebrity killing someone in their car. Let's not forget that. So a celebrity killing someone in their car, running home and popping on a dress. That's the target of the joke, just so we're clear, okay? She was interviewed about a week later at some press conference for a show she was in, now cancelled. And the press were around and one said, what do you think of the Ricky Gervais joke? And she went, maybe I should host the Golden Globes, right? and they tweeted that, and they atted me in, because they were Celebrity Feud, you know? It was clickbait, so I rose to the bait, obviously. I just said, let her host, just don't let her drive. Another website that was in the room, Entertainment Weekly, they tweeted a different headline, and they atted me in as well. And their headline was, Caitlyn finally breaks silence over Ricky Gervais. I just sent back, at last. She always breaks too late. Bring it on. Bring it on. But I'm a considered comedian. I like my jokes to be accurate and my targets to be fair. So I was engaging these people. I was saying, why is it transphobic? And they were saying, it's about a trans person. I said, well, that's ridiculous. That's like saying a joke about Bill Cosby is automatically racist. It depends on the joke. But I was talking to them, I'm willing to learn, and I found out my crime was that I dead-named her. Now, I'd never heard that term, you know, before a day after the Golden Globes, and that was saying her old name, and even acknowledging that she used to be a man. But she did. I saw him on the Olympic Games. It was decathlon. It was in everything. He was all over the place. Shot put and pole vault. He won a medal. He was famous. He was on telly all the time. But, you know, a big, famous man with a huge... I don't know, but I mean, I'm guessing he probably... He's a big... But I've learnt my lesson. Now, I'd never dead name her now. Now I know it's never dead name her now. But, like, years ago, when, you know, she was a man. No, it was years ago, I'm saying, right? And she went to the doctor, right? And knocked on the door, and the doctor went, come in. This is years ago. I'd never dead name her now, but this is like a flashback before anyone... Do you know what So... And he went, hello, Bruce Jenner, because that was his name then. The doctor, you know, this was years ago, and the doctor went, oh, hi, Bruce Jenner, you big... How you doing, boy, you fucker? You big one. Whoa, how you doing, boy? Come here, you... How you doing, Brucey boy? Right? And Bruce Jenner, because that was his name, this is years ago, right? So, Bruce Jenner went, yeah, not too bad, yeah. Not too bad, right? And I was like, what can I do for you, Bruce? Yeah, fucker, how you doing, boy? And Bruce Jenner, because that was his name, Bruce Jenner went, look at that. And oh, come on, Bruce Jenner, you know the rules. He uses his whole name every time for some reason. I don't know what... Come on, Bruce Jenner, fucker, you know the rules. You can't bring your big old pole vaulting pole in here, mate, you know. Bruce Jenner went, no, that's not my pole vaulting pole, that's my enormous penis. And I thought, oh, right, yeah, seeing as it is your penis, you can bring it in here, but you should have left your shot puts outside. And Bruce Jenner went, that was his name for 58 years, I think. He went, no, they're not my shot puts, they're my enormous testicles. That's where I keep my testosterone and my spunk and shit, right? And the doctor went, oh, yeah, that makes perfect, I'm a medical man, and that you're a big, oh, you fucker. How you doing, boy? You're a big, you're big, and you would have a big old cock and balls, they're beautiful, they're a bit familiar, isn't it? And I go, no, but you must be very proud of them, Bruce. Bruce Jenner went, oh, this is going to surprise you, doctor. I want to get rid of them. And the doctor went, what? Why? Oh, they get in the way. Get in the way of what? Fucking driving, for one thing. So I'm engaging these people, saying, but I had to say her old name because that gets me into the joke. I say, I changed, not as much as Bruce Jenner, and then I do the actual joke. They went, no, this is my second crime. I say, she hasn't changed, right? She's always been a woman because she's always identified as a woman, and that means she's a woman. Fine, if that's the rules, you are what you feel. If you feel you're a woman, that makes you a woman. Cool. You know, I'm not one of these bigots that think having done this science going too far. You know? In fact, I don't think it's going far enough. Because I've always identified as a chimp, right? Well, I am a chimp. If I say I'm a chimp, I am a chimp. You know? Pre-op, but... and don't ever dead name me. Don't ever call me Ricky Gervais again. From now, call me Bobo. So, I'm going to have species realignment. I'm up there, to be honest. I'm sort of short with short legs and long arms. I sort of stoop like that. My back's getting hairier by the... I've got fangs. I love nuts. Oh, I love nuts. And once I was at the zoo and I could tell people were me, so I just started masturbating. So I am a chimp. I am a chimp if I say I'm a chimp. So I've got to live as a chimp for a year, then have hormones, get me all nice and healthy. That'd be lovely, right? I'm going to stay a male chimp, so I can keep all that, right? A male hetero chimp, keep the same girlfriend. Jane will be happy. She loves me. She loves chimps, so, you know. And I reckon that's got to be easier for a man to turn chimp. We're so close. Than for a man to turn into a woman in many ways. You know what I mean? A bit of hair, lip like that, as opposed to your cock and balls ripped off and a hole gouged out into... No, I'm a doctor, but that is the gist of it. I know which one I'd rather have done. And I'm not saying I think chimps are better than women. No way. Right? Any ladies, right? I can't see you, but to me, every single one of you is equal to a chimp. So I'm gonna have all that done. So, right. I'll do all that. I'll retain the ability to speak English, like in emergencies. If I'm talking to Jane, I'm going, she's going, what is it? What is it, Booba? Got the fucking oven on. There's a fire. You're telling me that if Caitlyn Jenner was being chased by a wolf, right, and there was a big fence, she had a long pole, she'd revert. She'd be over fucking easy. So, all that done, all that, doing all that, right? Legally a chimp. I'll be properly chimped up. I'll be able to use chimp toilets and everything, right? And then I'll be walking along Hampstead High Street, holding Jane's hand. Come on, Bobo. Like that, right? Even old hands now, so I don't know why she's suddenly all over me just because I'm a chimp, right? But we'll be all in maybe matching jumpers. So, come on, Bobo. In love. Just two guys. And then, if a bigot in a white van slows and goes, that's fucking disgusting, I just fling shit at him and run up a tree. And that's why that joke isn't transphobic, so... Cheers. So, why politics? Because I want to give back to society. Fuck off, I do. You don't know. And I can't enjoy this life when I see injustice, inequality. And I want to live and die, if necessary, by the morals I hold dearly, like Martin Luther King and Gandhi and Ben Elton. People have a problem with Ben Elton now. They think he's sort of sold out all his principles and just made as much money as he can. He's an annoying little twat. That may be the case, but they never ever go at Gandhi, do they? That's what I'm here. No, that's what I'm here for. A bit of balance. Never mind having a go at Ben Elton. What about Gandhi? He could be annoying. To me. I'll tell you a story about Gandhi. A true story. When he came to England in 1930 summer, I haven't looked it up, it was taking 30 seconds. I can't be bothered. I'll have it ready for tomorrow. Right. 1930 summer, and he got off the plane. Pretty sure it was a plane. Heathrow. Terminal 1. And he gets off like, Mahatma Gandhi in our little country, surrounded by journalists. I couldn't believe their luck. And one little journalist went, Mr. Gandhi, respectful, like, said, Mr. Gandhi, what do you think of Western civilization? And Gandhi said, I think it would be a good idea. Ooh, you sarky. Someone who doesn't want to get into a fight is a little bit... You know. And what of the sarcasm being the lowest form of wit? Oh no, highest form of wit when Gandhi says it. If I'd have been that report, I'd have said, oh, very good, I'm not putting that. I'll ask you again. What do you think of Western civilization? I told you I think it would be a good idea. All right, okay. I'm taking back your degree from London University. Oh, and your national health specs. What do you think of it now, Mr. Magoo? He went to the same university as me, University College London. And I think it was there where I turned away from politics, because I'd been interested
sort of, you know, all my life, particularly at 15, 16, 17, becoming politicised, hanging out in the sixth form and discussing communism and stuff. And I did things like I used to sell anti-Nazi League badges and collect for the mosque because it was noisy, mainly. And I even had that poster of Che Guevara on my wall at home to annoy my mum. It backfired. She thought it was Robert Lindsay. And then when I got to college, there were people better at that than me. I mean, there were people that really meant it. I was thinking, oh God, was I like that? I'll give you an example. I did philosophy, and after a few weeks, you had to choose your options for the 3 years. And compulsory subjects were logic and Greek philosophy, and you had to choose about 6 others. And I chose philosophy of science, philosophy of mind, morality. And there was a Marxism option. And I thought, that'd be great, I've always been interested in that, and I'd do it. And it was only a small department, 25 people, and the tutors rule out, and you had to queue up and tick the thing you want. I looked over at the queue for Marxism, and there were 10 people in this queue. 3 of them were wearing berets. And I thought, God, I can't spend 3 years in a room with what I used to call at the time, cunts. The first bloke I sort of hooked up with was the opposite of that. He was this big lumbering chemist called Pete Bron, yeah? And I think it was like the first person I met, and he lived literally opposite me in the corridor at I4 Evans Hall in Camden. And 18, like the rest of us, but the mind of a 55-year-old fascist cab driver. Do you know what I mean? Like, just society was going to the dogs and, oh, God, oh, the things I could do if I was in charge, that sort of thing. And I remember there was an advert at the time for Strongbow. And at the end of the advert, 2 arrows were fired from a longbow, went and split the wood on a bar. That gave him the horn, that advert. Because he used to imagine executing muggers and rapists like that. And it would come on, and he'd go quiet, and he'd be watching it like that. And then, as I go, oh, that was in the head. And he also used that to exorcise demons. Like, he walked along the street, and it was like early 80s, so if he saw someone come the other way, like a bloke with long hair and makeup or something, he'd just watch him, and he'd go, oh. He'd be imagining killing him. Once we were walking home from college, and he used to go in every day and buy his Evening Standard. It's a little kiosk, I don't know if it's still there, but it was like just 2 piles of Standards and a little old woman selling them. And he went in this particular day, bought his Standard, 10p, that's it. And the cover story that day was a big photograph of an old age pensioner. She'd been mugged, and there was a picture of her, cuts and bruises, awful story. And the old lady, just making conversation, she probably said it to everyone who came in that day. She went to Pete, so awful, isn't it? And he went, yeah, yeah, she's 93, scarred for life. But you leave it, don't you? Pete went, well, it's not scarred for life then, is it? She went, what? You scar a baby for life, don't you? But if she lives till she's 100, she's only been scarred for 7% of her life. Who did the maths for her? Like this old woman's meant to go, yeah, you're right, fuck her. Species of spider. I mean, millions and billions of individual in each species, okay? And that's just one class, arachnid, of one of them, Arthropoda, which there are many. There could be 5 million species are extinct, and that remaining 1% is 5 million strong. Take one of those species, termites. If you were to weigh every termite alive now, it would be 10 times the tonnage of every human being on Earth. And it's statistics like that that make this book isn't totally accurate.
I love illegal immigrants. Yeah, do me now. Sometimes I go down to Dover for the day, right? And I look out, right? I look for a boat, and I see a dinghy with about 60 of them, and I go over here, like, right? And I pull them into shore. I go, women and children first. They go, there are no women and children. Just you lads, is it? Just, come on, lads. Come on, lads. If I go down there one day and there's no boat, I am absolutely fucking gutted. I just sort of wander into town, and I stand by the traffic lights and I wait for a big lorry to pull up, right? And I look underneath, a lad sort of clutching like that. I go, where you headed? And he goes, Gary Lineker's house. I go, it's just down there. Yeah. Fuck borders. Fuck, we don't need borders, do we? Be like the Vikings. They didn't care about borders, did they? I've got a little bit of Viking blood in me. Well, we all, because of all the raping they did. They say it was raping and pillaging, but it was mainly for the raping. I think they added the pillaging bit for the wives. I mean, they went down, just a bit of pillaging. Just pillaging. Pillaging, babe. All right. Are you wearing your rape hat?